Stock that we will be tracking very closely will be TCS. That's because the board will be meeting today to consider a share buyback plan. Remember, according to the rules, a company can do 10% of its total net worth, as a buyback. If you don't want a shareholder approval, if you don't want to get into the hassle of doing that, then you can do 10% of your net worth, and that's a little more than about $1 billion. If you do get the shareholder approval, then you can go up to 25% of your free cash flow reserves, paid up capital, etc. That would make it a $3 billion buyback. Not a problem for TCS, which is cash of close to about $6.5 billion. The question is this buyback going to be in lieu of the dividend? In FY16, the company paid about 43.5 rupees by way of a dividend. If it is going to be in lieu of the dividend this year, then I guess the excitement surrounding it is going to be a little lower. Will the promoters participate in the buyback? We think so. The promoter holding currently stands at 73.3%. If they don't participate in the buyback, then their shareholding crosses that 75% mark, which is not allowed according to the SEBI rules. Also, whether this is going to be EPS accretive, a lot depends on the size of the buyback, the price at which they do. But very, roughly, analysts say it could be marginally EPS accretive because as of now, the yield that the company gets on its cash post-tax, we can assume it to be 5%, which is lower than the 6 to 7% earnings yield that the company enjoys. So any return of cash to the shareholders can be EPS accretive marginally. And of course, a lot depends on the final contours of this particular. It also ups the pressure on the rest of the IT companies to return cash to the shareholders, especially Infosys, which has a cash pile of $5.2 billion. That's about 36,000 crore rupees. And plus, they haven't done an acquisition in the last 18 months. So there's, so shareholders are saying that, well, if you're not, using your cash for M&A, then at least return it back to the shareholders because valuations are much lower than what they used to be compared to historical standards. So this would be a good way to reward shareholders who've been patient with you for the last, many years. So let's see what TCS does. It will, in a way, set the benchmark for the Indian IT companies at least.
Indeed, we'll keep an